Colorado High School Activities Association Baseball is on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com this afternoon from Butch Butler Field in Greeley. It's the opening round of the 3A state tournaments as the Brush Bee Diggers take on the Peak to Peak Pumas. I'm John Beltran, as this is the second of the three games to be played today. The winner of this game will take on the Eaton Reds, which defeated Gunnison earlier today 11-0. Peak to Peak comes into the game with a 15-6 record. They won that regional at Manitou Springs, beating Alamosa 2-1 and Basalt 10-2. The Bee Diggers at 15-5 beat Denver Signs and Tech Stapleton 14-4 and St. Mary's 11-1. Alex Bradfield, the center fielder, hits first for Peak to Peak. Matthew Bagnato, the second baseman, at second. Mitchell Ward, the shortstop, bats third. Batting fourth is Blake Bride, the third baseman. Zach Fiegelson, the left fielder, hits fifth. Braden Wire in first, hits sixth. Right fielder Tommy Schreiber bats seventh. Jack Wather, the catcher, hits eighth. Anthony Colgate, the DH, hits ninth against right-hander Nico Guzman. Wind and pitch, and the fastball to the screen rides inside. Opening pitch brought to you by Buildings by Design. The experience to complete your project from start to finish. Get the quality you deserve in your building by starting your build project right. Start with Buildings by Design. And the 1-0. Fastball is swung on and fouled off to the left, and the count evens at 1-1. The Bee Diggers are making their third state tournament appearance in the last four seasons, going to the finals in 2012, going 1-2 2 years ago. The pitch swung on line for a base hit into left field along the line by the left-handed hitting Bradfield. And that's the way this game starts for Peak to Peak. And that'll bring up Matthew Bagnato. He leads the team in hitting, over 500 this season. And Bagnato, by the way, is only a freshman, hitting .531. Hitting for the right side. The stretch by Guzman. And the offering. Fastball is upstairs. 1 and no strikes. B.J. Hirschfeld's at first. Baby Matos Garcia at second. Mikey Gutierrez at third. The shortstop is Kyle Rosenbrock. Around the outfield, Grayson Simmons in left. Zane Fowles in center, Brandon Walter in right, Petey behind the plate, runner going, pitch out, Peterson throws to second, and it's going to be late. It'll be a stolen base by Alex Bradfield. And a man in scoring position already here for Peak to Peak in the top of the first inning. You can follow us on Twitter at KSIR Sports or Pitch by Pitch at KSIRSports.com. By clicking on the link to today's game. The offering squaring to bunt, pops it up. It's going to be caught by Guzman. No throw to second, and there's one down. The small ball is key in these games, and that was a failure to execute there by Bagnato, and a .531 hitter ends up popping it up. So here's Mitchell Ward. Stretch and pitch. Swung on. That is popped up on the right side now, back towards the screen as the ball drifted foul. Giving chase was Petey. By the way, on KPMX and KPMX.com, they go to the bottom of the eighth inning. Sterling and Valley right now are deadlocked at 9 from Frederick High School. So that's still in the first game. This second game here is underway. Bayfield and University waiting to play that second game. 0-1 to Ward. The pitch. And the fastball's upstairs. Counted 1-1. Ward hitting .431 on the season, and he's driven in 17. That's second on the team to the on-deck hitter Blake Bride. The pitch swung on and fouled off to the right. And the count moves to 1-2. If the Bee Diggers win, they play at 3 o'clock today on 1010 and KSIR.com. If they lose, this game they play tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock from Frederick High School. Also on 1010 and KSIR.com. They'd have to win 2 games tomorrow to advance to the following weekend. Swung on and grounded foul on the breaking ball up the third base side. It remains at 1-2 to the right-handed hitting Mitchell Ward. It was very overcast to begin the day. In fact, for a few hours now the sun has finally come out. Temperature still in the lower 60s. Off of second is Bradfield. And the 1-2 pitch. Swung on. That is popped up into foul territory. Petey giving chase, but it's out of play. Count remains at 1-2. And we will see the ace, Nick Kavakas, here for Peak to Peak, coached by Derek Urban. They're dressed in their white uniforms with the gray pants. The Bead Diggers, of course, in their maroons with the gray pants as well. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 on, 1 out in the top of the first inning. And the offering swung on and lifted into center field. Zane Fowl comes in. He's got plenty of room, makes the catch, no tag. And there's 2 down. Getting back to second is Bradfield. 2 down for Blake Bride, as I mentioned. With a 24 RBIs, he leads the team. And I mentioned Bagnato was the leading hitter. It's actually Blake Bride with his .559 batting average. Bagnato not too far behind him. Hitting with an open stance from the right side. And the pitch swung on. That has popped up into shallow right center field. Going out is Matos Garcia. He makes the catch. And Peak to Peak is done in the top of the first inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a man left in scoring position. Let's head to the bottom of the first inning. Peak to Peak does not score, and the Bead Diggers are coming to bat on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. The Bead Diggers starting lineup this afternoon against Peak to Peak, brought to you by Cargill Beef, committed to feeding the world in a responsible way by reducing environmental impact and improving products and processes. Learn about that story of commitment at Cargill.com. For the Bead Diggers, batting first is the first baseman B.J. Hirschfeld. The second hitter is the second baseman Arnoldo Matos Garcia. Catcher Alec Peterson hits third. The cleanup hitter is the shortstop Kyle Rosenbrock. Batting fifth is Nico Guzman. The center fielder Zane Fowl hits sixth. Brandon Walter in right hits seventh. The third baseman Mikey Gutierrez hits eighth. And Grayson Simmons, the left fielder, bats ninth. We'll get to the defense here momentarily for Peak to Peak. Braden Wires at first. Matthew Bagnato at second. Blake Bride at third. Mitchell Ward is the shortstop. Zach Fiegelson is at left. The center fielder is Alex Bradfield. Tommy Shriver in right. Jack Wather behind the plate. And Nick Kavakas, 10-1, the left-hander, with a 1.17 ERA, will pitch to Hirschfeld. The wind and offering. And the fastball is down and in. 1 ball and no strikes. Hirschfeld hitting .386 on the season. He's driven in 23, even though he's a leadoff hitter. Hitting from the right side is Hirschfeld. And the 1-0 offering. And that is over the plate for a strike with a fastball just above the knees. And the count is level at 1 ball and 1 strike. Hirschfeld with that open stance, that back foot closer to the plate than the right foot, than the front foot, I should say. And the 1-1. And the breaking ball is a little bit up and away. 2 balls and 1 strike. A tall, lanky left-hander is Nick Kavakas. He accounted for 10 of their 15 victories that Peak to Peak had during the season. 2-1. Swung on and grounded right side. Second baseman Bagnato's got it. Flips to first. And there's 1 down in the bottom of the first inning. And that'll send up the second hitter, Baby Matos Garcia. Arnoldo hitting .400 on the year. The Bead Diggers are very familiar with this field. As we mentioned, they played in the state finals in 2012. They've won at least a game in each of their last 2 state appearances on this field, against Holy Family in 2012 and against Lamar in 2013. And the left-hander delivers. And the fastball tails down and away. 1 ball and no strikes. To Arnoldo Matos Garcia, they go to the 9th at Frederick. Sterling and Valley remain deadlocked at 9. The pitch swung on and fouled off to the right, went with a heater. And the count levels at 1-1. To Arnoldo Matos Garcia. With 2 locations in Brush and Fort Morgan, Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance can help you with your home, car, health, or life insurance questions and needs. Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. The base is empty. No score in the first. The offering. Down and in. Took something off it. Ball 2, strike 1. To the junior second baseman, Matos Garcia. Playing very shallow and left is Fiegelson. And Baby's got some power. And the 2-1. And he swings and lines it for a base hit into right field. On a ball tailing away from the right-handed hitter. And both teams now have a hit in this first inning. But tough to run against a left-hander. And here's Peterson. He's leading the team in most categories, second in batting average at .453. He's got 6 of Brush's 18 home runs this year, and he's driven in 25 to lead the team as well. One-step lead for Matos Garcia. And the pitch to Petey, and he takes it low on the changeup. 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, all these seniors for Brush, Peterson, Guzman, and Rosenbrock, they're making their third appearance as players, second as starters, except for Rosenbrock. He was a starter as a freshman. Stepping off is Kavakis. Again, Baby with a short lead at first. Laying down the sign is Wather. The pitch, down and away, and the ball skips away from the catcher Wather into second on the pass ball is going to be Matos Garcia, so he's in scoring position with a 2-ball, no strike count with Alec Peterson at the plate. And Peak to Peak did not score in the opening frame. The stretch by Kavakis. Long pause, the pitch. Swung on and tapped foul up the third base side. Count moves to 2-1. Peterson did not have any lapses during the year. He was hot all year. Rosenbrock on deck, got a little bit cold during the mid-portion of the season. Then he picked it up in the playoffs. In fact, Kyle homered twice in that district championship game and got the win on the hill against St. Mary's. 2 balls and 1 strike, and Peterson awaits. And he swings and fouls it back on a ball that was up in the zone. And the count moves to 2-2. This is an 8-team double elimination tournament. Already Gunnison plays tomorrow morning in an elimination game against the loser of this game. That'll be at Frederick High School. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and Peterson awaits. Here it is. And the breaking ball is outside. Framed beautifully by Wather, but it was off the plate. And it is 3-2 to Peterson. Kavakis looks back. And the 3-2. Swung on and tapped foul just behind the plate on a ball that was diving in the zone. Remains at 3-2 to Petey. Again, Wather puts down the sign. Matos Garcia with a 5-step lead at second. 3-2. Swung on, hit off the end of the bat, foul on the changeup up the first base side. Count remains at 3-2 to Alec Peterson. Yeah, Petey, if he can time this out, he'll be good to go with Matos Garcia at second. Again, we'll see a third consecutive 3-2 pitch. Here it is. And he swings and misses, strikes him out on a fastball up and away. Throw back to second. Matos Garcia back on the base, and there's 2 down. 2 down for Kyle Rosenbrock. Rosenbrock in the state championship game as a freshman. Homered against Eaton. And what turned out to be a 6-4 loss for the Bee Diggers. So Kavakis picks up his first strikeout. And Rosenbrock awaits. The pitch swung on and fouled back. Went with that tailing fastball. It's 0-1. High Plains Bank offers a wide variety of products that can be customized to fit your individual needs. See what over a century of customer service can do for you at High Plains Bank in Wiggins. No balls, 1 strike. And Rosenbrock awaits. A step off by Kavakis with Matos Garcia striding off of second. Yeah, that Eaton-Gunnison game went quickly earlier today. Eaton scored 5 runs in the opening frame, and it was over. They won 11-0. The pitch, and the breaking ball is a strike. Down the middle at the knees. It's a nasty curveball. No balls and 2 strikes on Kyle Rosenbrock. Yeah, this is their ace. I don't know if Peak to Peak really has a legit number 2. Kavakis looks in. 0-2. Fastball is up and away. Matos Garcia takes off. He slides. He's in there. So he steals third. Got a delayed jump there, but nonetheless, he was able to swipe the bag. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a man 90 feet away. No score in the bottom of the first inning. Kavakis out of the stretch. And the pitch. Fastball tails away. Actually took something off it. Man, he's got a lot of movement on that pitch. 2-2. Yeah, you got to do what Matos Garcia did and go the other way. Especially with a pitch tailing away with that left-hander on the hill. And the 2-2. Swung on and fouled off to the right. And hopefully they can use up his pitch count. Kavakis has thrown 21 here in the opening frame. Petey had a long at bat. Rosenbrock back in there, 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 down. Wather lays down the sign. Matos Garcia with a short lead at third. And the offering swung on line foul towards the Digger dugout on the third base side. Way out in front of that breaking ball. Oh, this is one of the keys. Even if you don't score, you get Kavakis to throw some pitches. He might be done by the 4th or 5th inning. You got to get to their number 2 pitcher. Or whatever pitcher they decide to use after Kavakis, if the B-Diggers can extend them that far. The stretch and the 2-2. Swing and a miss on a tailing fastball. And the B-Diggers do not score in the first inning. Brush nothing, Peak to Peak nothing as we head to the second. You are listening to the 2015 Class 3A State Tournament from Greeley on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. We head to the second inning from Butch Butler Field in Greeley. No score in this Class 3A State Tournament opening game for the B-Diggers, that is, after Eaton defeated Gunnison earlier today 11-0. And Peak to Peak will send up 5, 6, and 7 hitters against right-hander Nico Guzman. And hitting from the left side will be Zach Fiegelson. Nico allowed 1 hit in the first inning, as did his counterpart, Nick Kavakis. Here's the wind and the pitch. And swag, and I'm missing a fastball on the outer half. It's 0-1. Yeah, Nico induced a few pop-ups there in that first. At least Peak-to-Peak Pumas getting underneath the baseball. The wind in the 0-1. Swung on and lifted down the left side, but it's foul. No balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, Nico threw just 13 pitches in the opening frame. Kavakis threw about 23. No balls and 2 strikes to the left-handed hitter Fiegelson. Petey lays down the sign, the pitch, and a changeup is up and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Guzman in his last start threw 4 perfect innings against Denver Science and Tech Stapleton, striking out 9 in a 14-4 win. The offering up and away again with the same pitch. 2-2. Yeah, gorgeous day now in Greeley. A little bit of cloud cover, but not too much. And the 2-2 pitch. Up and away with a fastball. Hasn't come close in the last 3 pitches after getting ahead 0-2. Peak to Peak did have the leadoff hitter on in this game, but the B-Diggers left him stranded. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Wind and pitch. Swing and a miss on a fastball right down the middle. He challenged Fiegelson and struck him out. And there's 1 down. And there's the tall first baseman for the right side, Braden Wire. This guy's got to play basketball. I'd say he's about 6'8", 6'7", easy. So he's certainly got some power, you would think, especially if he can extend. Wind and pitch. Swing and a miss, but a slow bat there as Guzman threw the fastball right by him, and it's 0-1. Nico ready. And the offering. Swing and a miss and a breaking ball. Man, that was nasty, tailing away. No balls and 2 strikes. We're in the top of the second, no score. From Greeley between peak to peak and Brush with 1 down. The pitch. Swing and a miss and a fastball tailing away, and there's 2 down. Nico has struck out the first 2 hitters here in the second, and he did it on 3 pitches there against Wire. Here's Tommy Schreiber. Another right-handed hitter for peak to peak. Guzman delivers. Swung on and fouled to the screen. It's 0-1. He's tried to tie him up with a fastball. ACI's proudly supports local high school sports throughout Northeast Colorado. You can find it at any local grocery or convenience store near you, ACI's. And the pitch. Breaking ball swung on. Grounded to the first baseman, Hirschfeld. He's got it. And he steps on the bag, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Nico Guzman. Let's head to the bottom of the second inning. Peak to peak, nothing. Brush, nothing. You are listening to the 2015 Colorado Class 3A Baseball Championships on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Nick Kavakas will face the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for Brush. As we move to the bottom of the second inning, no score in this 3A state championship game, or state tournament game, I should say. State championship still a week from tomorrow. See the B-Diggers get there. Got to win a few games to get there in this opening round game. Guzman coming in to the game, hitting .464. Leads the team in hitting. Wind and pitch. Swung on and lifted foul off to the right. And that ball is out of play, nearly out of play. It's 0-1. Yeah, these pitchers have brought their best stuff, it looks like, at least so far in the early going. As Guzman had a couple of strikeouts in that second inning, as did Kavakas in the first, and he did it against Peterson and Rosenbrock. Pretty impressive. Guzman back in the box. And the pitch, and that tails away. Count levels at 1 ball and 1 strike. To Guzman. Airs the wind and the pitch, and he takes a fastball down and away. Man, there's lots of lateral movement. B-Diggers have got to stay all the way through the zone. You try to pull a pitch against this kid, it's going to be tough. Everything goes away from the right-handed hitter. 2-1. Swing and a miss. It was a check swing, but he went around. It is 2-2 to Guzman. Here in the bottom of the second inning, no score. Sterling now leads Valley 12-9 on KPMX and KPMX.com in the bottom of the ninth in Frederick. And the pitch swung on and tapped slowly back towards the middle. Second baseman Bagnado throws to first late on a very slow tapper, and Guzman beats it out on the infield single. I thought the pitcher was going to get it, but a little bit slow off the mound was Kavakas, and Guzman beats it out. And now we'll have a courtesy runner in Justin Griffith. So Griffith at first base. And here is Zane Fowl, hitting .328. And again, got to be careful as a courtesy runner against this left-hander. Now, I tell you, that first baseman, Wire's got about a foot over Griffith. The stretch. Zane Fowl waits. Step off by Kavakas. Again, you can follow us on Twitter at KSIR Sports or our 1010 KSIR Sports Facebook page. Fowl waits the pitch, and he swings and misses. Throw back to first. Bounces in, but gloved over there by Wire. No balls and 1 strike. Now you wonder, will the B-Diggers play some small ball? Because that's what Peak to Peak attempted in the first inning, and Bagnado, the number 2 hitter, popped it up. and it was caught by the pitcher Guzman. Long pause, and the offering. Swung on, fouled off to the right and out of play. 0-2. Bee Diggers are late against this guy's fastball. And Kavakis is bringing it. But you look at the rest of the pitching staff, and it's really all about Kavakis. The next best pitcher is 2-1 with a 6.66 ERA. That's Bride. And that is upstairs with a changeup. Ball 1, strike 2. So you get to Kavakis, have him throw about, hopefully, 15 to 20 pitches an inning. He's thrown 31 pitches so far. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The stretch. And the pitch. Down and in with a fastball. Count levels at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hard to play small ball right now. You can't bunt him over with 2 strikes. But Zane can spray it. Griffith off of first. A 2-step advantage against the lefty Kavakis. And he comes home. Swung on. That ball's grounded to short. And the throw to second is going to be in time, and no throw to first. And now they're going to call a double play, I believe. It's going to be a double play. It'll be a double play. It looked like Griffith slid into the bag, but they're going to say he slid into the shortstop. It's going to be an automatic double play, a 6-4-3 on the ball fielded by Ward, and there's 2 down. Yeah, you kind of saw that coming as soon as the indication was made, and Kevin Fergus is out there, and he's not happy about it. It looked like the slide was right into Bagnato, but he was on the bag. And if he's on the bag, that's legit. But apparently the second base umpire's ruling that he slid into the second baseman without sliding towards the bag, and it's an automatic double play despite no throw being made on the back end. So 2 down and the base is empty for Brandon Walter. So that does go as a 6-4-3. Walter's hitting .306. Lefty against lefty. And the pitch. And that ball's down and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, the Bee Diggers had the leadoff man on in this inning. The number 2 man on in the first. Nothing to show for it. And the 1-0. Swung on and grounded left side. Ward, the shortstop, has got it. Long throw on a hop, and it's going to skip by the first baseman Wire. And we'll call that an error. A good throw gets him. That'll be an E on the shortstop, Ward. And the inning is extended here for Mikey Gutierrez. Gutierrez is hitting .424 on the year. He's driven in 24. Now let's see if the Bee Diggers can take advantage of that miscue by Peak to Peak as we're scoreless in the bottom of the second inning. In this double elimination tournament from Greeley and Frederick as well. 2 different sites, the stretch and the pitch. Swung on, tapped slowly foul up the third base side. Count moves to no balls and 1 strike. And the Bee Diggers have the experience, but still gotta execute to win these games. And there's no doubt that Peak to Peak has got a top-notch pitcher in Nick Kavakis. No balls and 1 strike. He's a big reason why they've gotten this far. And the pitch, and the curveball tails away. And the count levels at 1-1. Win or lose, the Bee Diggers will be playing tomorrow. Be nice to win here because they'd play 2 today and no more than a game tomorrow. You lose today, you've got to win 2 tomorrow to move on to the next weekend. The offering swung on. That is popped up into shallow right field. The second baseman, Bagnato, is going to make the catch, nearly colliding with Shriver and right. And that does it for the Bee Diggers in the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and a man left. We have played 2 innings in Greeley. No score between Peak to Peak and Brush on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. We head to the third inning where the Bee Diggers and Peak to Peak Pumas are scoreless in Greeley in this opening round Class 3A state tournament game. It'll be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters against Nico Guzman, Jack Wather, Anthony Colgate, and Alex Bradfield. No runs on one hit for Peak to Peak. They've committed an error. No runs on 2 hits, no errors for the Beat Diggers. And here's Wather from the right side. He is the catcher today for the Pumas. Peak to Peak out of Lafayette. Wind and pitch. Fastball is upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Guzman ready. And the offering. Swung on, fouled off to the right. And out of play on the liner. Count evens at 1-1. And the pitch. Swung on, foul to the backstop. Went with a fastball down the middle. It's 1-2. Nico has retired 6 in a row after giving up a leadoff single to begin the game. The pitch. Swung on and grounded to short. Rosenbrock's going to have to charge. Gloves. Throws. 1 out. Perfect throw by Kyle. That'll send up Anthony Colgate. Another right-handed hitter for Peak to Peak. So Sterling, after their 12-9 victory, they just beat Valley on KPMX and KPMX.com, will play at 3 o'clock today against either Bayfield or University. That game will get underway in the next 20 minutes. So it won't be a 3 o'clock start. They'll start later than that. Swag and a miss on a fastball down the middle. No balls and 1 strike to the 9th place hitter Colgate. Here's the wind and offering. Swing and a miss. Tied him up. It's 0-2. Took something off of that one. No balls and 2 strikes. Nico wipes the fingers a little bit. And the pitch down and away with a breaking ball. Count goes to 1-2. My buddy Jack Godert is here. That's always fun to see. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out. The pitch. Swing and a miss and a fastball up in the zone. And that is 3 strikeouts for Guzman. And there's 2 down here in the top of the 3rd inning. 2 down here for the leadoff hitter, Alex Bradfield. He singled to begin the game as Guzman has retired 8 in a row. The wind and offering, swung on and grounded up the middle. Second baseman Matos Garcia to his right, flings it to first, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Nico Guzman. Let's head to the bottom of the 3rd in this 3A state tournament opening round game from Greeley. No score between Peak to Peak and Brush on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Peak to Peak, nothing. Brush, nothing in the bottom of the 3rd inning from Butch Butler Field in Greeley. In this opening round, 3A state tournament, double elimination format here. Bee Diggers here were 3-2 in 2012, 1-2 last year. And Brush will be sending up the 9-1-2 hitters, Grayson Simmons, B.J. Hirschfeld, and Baby Matos Garcia against the left-hander Nick Kavakis, who's thrown 38 pitches so far, so you got to work him even more. Because when you look at the numbers, as I mentioned earlier, Peak to Peak doesn't have much behind him. He's accounted for 10 of the 15 victories that Peak to Peak has this year. So here's the left-hander Simmons stepping in. Grayson hitting .356. The wind and offering. Swing and a miss and a fastball tailing inside. It's 0-1. Yeah, you can't take a huge swing against Kavakis with that heater. Opens up that stance just a little bit. And the pitch. Swing and a foul to the screen. On a ball up in the zone. No balls and 2 strikes. Well, the last time that Guzman was involved in a pitcher's duel, the Bee Diggers lost that one in Greeley, 1-0 to University. Hopefully that will not repeat itself in terms of the result today. 0-2 to Simmons. Steps out. Kavakis was Very impressive in the first inning, striking out Peterson and Rosenbrock. And the offering, and that is a little bit high. Wow. It must have barely, and I mean barely missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes. To me, it looked like it missed in the strike zone. Simmons awaits. And the offering, swung on and fisted foul off to the left. Again, his pitches tail away from the right-handed hitters and in to the lefties. Stays at 1-2 to Simmons, the senior left fielder for Brush. Here to begin the bottom of the third inning. Neither team has scored as of yet. And the 1-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out on a fastball tailing in. And there's one down. And Kavakis could be due for a big gain the way he's thrown so far. For Kavakis, that is strikeout number 3. Well, let's see. We'll adjust that here momentarily. Here's Hirschfeld. Hirschfeld grounded out in the first. The pitch. And the curveball is upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. To the right-handed hitting first baseman for Brush. Here's the wind and offering. And that is down in the zone. Took something off at 2-0. Your operation deserves the best when buying a mixer feeder truck. Compare the MMI design, craftsmanship, and service. MMI International, 842-5161. 2-0. Outside. One with a heater, it's 3-0. And both pitchers have been in control, but right now, Hirschfeld is in a hitter's count at 3-0. He'll be taking here. And Kavakis throws it right down the middle for a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike. He might take again. And again, the left fielder, Fiegelson, playing very shallow. If a B-digger can hit it out there, could run for a while. 3-1 pitch. That is right there for a strike. 3-2. Looked like the umpire rung up Hirschfeld, but he thought there were 2 strikes, and there was only 1. Now there's 2. 3-2 to Hirschfeld. And the offering swung on and fouled off and out of play. But again, it's a quality at bat here, just to use up the pitch count. This will be the 50th pitch thrown by Kavakis, who's retired 7 B-diggers thus far. 3 with 1 down and the bases empty in the bottom of the third inning. Hirschfeld digs in. The wind and the 3-2 pitch. And that is low with a changeup. And Hirschfeld walks. So that was a quality 7-pitch plate appearance. And that'll bring up Arnoldo Matos Garcia. He had one of the 2 hits the B-diggers have generated so far. And Baby looking over for the signs. Yeah, you got to play some small ball here. Doesn't mean he's got a bunt. Hirschfeld with a 2-step lead. The stretch. And the pitch. And it tails on the outside half there for a ball. Tails away. Just missed it. 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, Baby likes to spray it to the right side, but he's got a bigger gap in left center field. The center fielder, Bradfield, shaded a little bit towards right center, realizing it's tough to pull Kavakis. Snap throw to first, back in standing as Hirschfeld. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 on, 1 out. Bottom of the third inning. Matos Garcia was at third base in the first with 2 down when the inning ended on a Rosenbrock strikeout. And throw back to first. They've got Hirschfeld. Throw to second is low, and they're going to throw back towards first, and he's going to be tagged out. Hirschfeld is picked off. 1-3 to 6-3. And there's 2 down. He took a chance, and it backfired. So Matos Garcia up there with a 1-ball, no strike count and 2 down in the bottom of the third. Yeah, can't make that mistake. Yeah. Kevin Fergus thought it might have been a balk. Oh, Matos Garcia was up there with nobody on in his first plate appearance, and he swings and misses. Had a fastball diving down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, Eaton awaits the winner of this game. Eaton won easily 11-0 over Gunnison. And the offering, and the curveball is outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. To Arnoldo Matos Garcia. And he awaits the 2-1 pitch. Swung on and grounded right up the middle to the shortstop. Ward throws to first. And the Bee-Diggers are done in the third. Let's head to the 4th inning. Nothing doing for Brush. Peak to peak, nothing. Brush, nothing. On 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Well, we're still looking for our first run in this game as we head to the 4th inning from Butch Butler Field in Greeley. In this opening round 3A state tournament game, Brush, nothing. Peak to peak, nothing. And Nico Guzman will face Matthew Bagnato, Mitchell Ward, and Blake Bride, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. The guys who've done the majority of the damage throughout the course of the season for peak to peak. However, Nico had no issue with them. First time around, Guzman has struck out 3. Bagnato bunted back to the pitcher. Fastball is down the middle for a strike. Belt high, it's 0-1. Guzman ready, the offering. Fastball is on the outside corner, that's 0-2. Nico's thrown only 9 balls so far and 26 strikes. No balls and 2 strikes. The pitch swung on and fouled off to the right. Tried to sneak a fastball on the outside corner, and Bagnato got a piece of it. And it remains at 0-2. Here's the wind and offering. Down and away with a changeup. 1-2 as the sun has come out. It's made some appearances, but not many. It's been a little bit overcast. And the offering. Down and away with a fastball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. To the right-handed hitting second baseman, Matthew Bagnato. To lead off the 4th. And the pitch. Fastball is up and in. 3-2. Well, Nico had the same situation in the 3rd. He got ahead 0-2, then threw 3 consecutive balls, and he struck out the leadoff hitter. 3-2 pitch. Swung on and lifted to center field. Zane Fowl comes in. He makes the catch. And there's 1 down. 1 down for Mitchell Ward. Ward popped to the center fielder Fowl in his first at bat. We played just over 45 minutes of baseball. The game is nearly halfway over unless we go to extras, like they had in Frederick, where Sterling defeated Valley in the bottom half of the bracket 12-9 in 9 innings. The pitch. Fastball is upstairs. When you're shopping for new appliances, shop the best appliance store in Fort Morgan with a full and complete line of Whirlpool appliances. B&B Appliance in downtown Fort Morgan. The pitch swung on and lifted into shallow left field. The third baseman gives way to the shortstop, Rosenbrock. The ball was hit off the fists, and he actually caught it on the back edge of the clay. So there's 2 down. I thought that had more carry, but it did not as Rosenbrock made the catch. Here's Blake Bride. He popped to the second baseman, Matos Garcia, in his first at bat. And he takes a fastball up and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Bride's got a huge open stance. That left foot is almost out of the box. 1-0 pitch right there for a strike at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike. And Nico Guzman is in a groove right now. And the offering. The curveball is a strike on the outside corner. 1-2. Nico's on quite the roll. He allowed a leadoff single, and he's allowed nothing since then. 1-2. Swinging a foul. Another sharp breaking ball, and he got a piece of it. And hit it out of play on the right side. Count remains at 1-2, 2 down, and the base is empty in the fourth. And the pitch swung on and fouled to the screen. Another fastball tailing away. Mixing up those pitches nicely. 400 straight away. 380 in the alleys. 333 down the lines. The pitch in the dirt with a changeup. Count moves to 2-2. Guzman has retired 11 in a row. After the leadoff single to begin the game by Alex Bradfield. 2-2. Wine and pitch. Swing and a miss on that cutter away. It's another 1-2-3 inning for Guzman. He's got 4 strikeouts in the game. 3.5 complete. Brush nothing. Peak to peak nothing. You're listening to the 2015 Colorado Class 3A Baseball Championships on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Here's Petey stepping into the bottom of the fourth inning. Alec Peterson struck out his first time against the left-hander Nick Kavakis. No score between Brush and Peak to Peak in the bottom of the fourth inning. With the winner to face Eaton at 3 o'clock. If Brush wins, we'll have it on 1010 as well as KSIR.com. The left-hander delivers. And that is a changeup for a strike on the inside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Kavakis and Guzman have been tough. Really tough so far. And the offering swung on and grounded slowly foul up the third base side. Count moves to 0-2. Well, should be about pitching and defense once you get this far. And that's the story in this game. No balls and 2 strikes. Peterson with the open stance. And the pitch swung on and lifted into left field. That was way back there towards the track. And that is gone! A home run for Petey! His 7th home run of the season. Over the left field fence, and the Bead Diggers have broken out on top in this opening round game in the 3A state tournament. Brush 1, Peak to Peak nothing. And he did it on an 0-2. And that'll bring up Kyle Rosenbrock. Well, Petey struck out and homered. Rosenbrock struck out his first time up. Maybe he can do the same thing and go deep. Yeah, just to score a run against this guy is not easy. No question about it. But Peterson was able to deliver. Here's the wind. And the pitch. Swung on and grounded foul up the third base side on the breaking ball, tailing in towards the right-handed hitter, Kyle Rosenbrock. It's 0-1. You can follow us pitch by pitch at KSIRsports.com. The wine and offering. Swag and a miss on a ball tailing away. And the count moves to 0-2 on Kyle Rosenbrock. Well, it was 0-2 on Petey. No reason to think that Rosenbrock can't deliver here. Wine and offering. And he swings and fouls it straight back. Tried to tie him up with that one. Count remains at 0-2. Find out why Morgan Community College is the best choice for your higher education. Visit MCC online at morgancc.edu. Morgan Community College. The pitch swung on and fouled straight back on a slow breaking ball. Remains at 0-2 to Kyle Rosenbrock. We're in the bottom half of the fourth inning. And a quick-moving baseball game from Greeley. Wind and pitch, and the ball nearly hit him all the way to the screen. It is 1-2 with Guzman on deck. One ball and two strikes. Alec Peterson has led off the bottom of the fourth with a home run just to the right of the scoreboard. The third Beat Digger hit of the game. And the offering up and away. 2-2 to Rosenbrock. Willow Coffee, Tea and Smoothies and G Sweets Bakery are perfect combination. Open 6 days a week. 921 Edison Street in Brush. Willow Coffee, Tea and Smoothies and G Sweets Bakery. The 2-2. Breaking ball is lined and caught by the first baseman Wire. Off the end of the bat, there's one down. And he caught that because he's about 6'7". Even though it wasn't hit that hard, he still had to leap a little bit. Guzman had an infield single his first time up. And he will now hit. Not only is Guzman 1 for 1, but he struck out 4 and retired 12 in a row. The wind by Kavakis and the pitch squaring to bunt, and he pops it up, and that is going to be foul. Wather could not chase it down. Popped it up behind the plate. Kavakis has now thrown 65 pitches. He's still probably got about a good 50 left in him. And that's one of the goals, again, if the Beat Diggers can get him out of the game. I mean, the rest of the staff, at least judging by the numbers, does not look all that impressive. No balls and one strike. Kavakis turns, kicks and fires, and that is right there for a strike on the inside corner. Took something off it. It's 0-2. Right at thigh level. No balls and two strikes to Guzman. Hitting from the right side. The wind and pitch. And he swings and taps it foul up the third base side. It remains at 0-2. We'll either go to regular programming for the rest of the day after this game, or we'll do it just for a short period of time and then get you to the 3 o'clock game. But the Beat Diggers got to take care of business here, leading 1-0 in the bottom of the fourth inning against Peak to Peak in this opening round 3A state tournament game. The 0-2 pitch. Swung on and grounded to short. Ward has got it on hop number 2. Throws to first. There's 2 down. As Guzman is retired, he's now 1 for 2. And here is Zane Fowl. He grounded out to the shortstop. Ward his first time up. And now Zane Fowl having a conversation with head coach Kevin Fergus. Yeah, I think at some point one of these teams is going to have to generate some small ball for just another run for Brush and for the first run for Peak to Peak. That's what they tried in the first against Guzman, and it backfired. So with 2 down and the base is empty. Kavakis against Fowl. Here's the wind and the offering. And he swings and grounds it on one hop to Wire. At first, he steps in the bag, and the inning is over. But the Beat Diggers get a home run from Alec Peterson to lead off the bottom of the fourth. Let's head to the 5th inning. The score, Brush 1, Peak to Peak nothing on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Let us head to the 5th inning. It is Brush 1, Peak to Peak nothing. Nico Guzman is working in a one-hitter and has retired 12 in a row. And here in the 5th, he will have to contend with the 5, 6, and 7 hitters, Zach Fiegelson, Braden Wire, and Tommy Shriver. Guzman has thrown just 49 pitches through 4. And this is one of the keys for a pitcher, shutting down the opposing team right after your team scores. It was scoreless through 3.5 until Alec Peterson drilled a home run. There's Fiegelson stepping in. The lefty against the right-hander Guzman. Guzman threw an incredible game against Denver Signs and Tech Stapleton. As impressive today. And the fastball tails outside. 1 ball and no strikes. To Fiegelson. The pitch swung on and lined on a hop to Rosenbrock. He plays it off his chest, throws to first in time. Oh, they're going to say that Hirschfeld was off the bag. They're going to say that Hirschfeld was off the bag. It looked like he was on there. Wow. That'll be an error on Hirschfeld then. And Kevin Fergus is out of the dugout. Boy, that looked like an odd call, but that's the ruling. He's off the bag, and he's safe. Fiegelson reaches. Here's Braden Wire. And just for the second time in the game, Guzman will pitch out of the stretch. Yeah, I did not see that whatsoever. The throw looked like it was there. So that will be an error on Brush, because the throw was in time. Wire struck out on 3 pitches his first time up. Here's the stretch. Squaring to bunt, and he pops it to the screen, foul. No balls and 1 strike. Was that not foul? Wow. Well, no, it wasn't foul. I thought he got a piece of it. Nope. But he attempted a bunt. It's just a strike. Man, as tall as he is, that's just going to go as a wild pitch. All right, no balls and 1 strike. I misread that. I thought he bunted it foul, and the pitch swung on and foul to the screen. It's 0-2. One with a fastball. Very odd start to the inning with an error on a routine grounder when Hirschfeld did not have his foot on first, and then a bunt attempt on a ball that was pretty high, and he missed the entire ball, and it ended up being a wild pitch. The pitch swung on and grounded right up the middle. Rosenbrock has got 1 play. It's to first, and that time Hirschfeld is right on the bag, and there's 1 down. Advancing to third is Fiegelson. And that is the tying run at third base. So Wire did his job. Here's Schreiber, who grounded to first. And we'll have a visit to the hill from Ryan Geiger, one of the assistant coaches, as Peak to Peak is threatening to even this game here in the top of the 5th inning. Man, a very bizarre start to the frame. Very bizarre start. Let's see what the Bee Diggers elect to do defensively, whether they play the infield in or not. Guzman has 4 strikeouts. Well, they're going to play the infield back. So a ground ball should score a run with Fiegelson at third. Guzman, however, will be out of the stretch. He's figuring there should be 2 outs and nobody on. The pitch swung on and fouled to the backstop. It's 0-1. No balls and 1 strike, with Brush holding a 1-0 lead. 1 down, but a man at third here on the top of the 5th inning over Peak to Peak. The stretch by Guzman. Squaring to bunt, it's a suicide squeeze, and he puts it down up the first base side. Run scores, throw to first with a second baseman covering, and there's 2 down. And on the suicide squeeze by Schreiber, Peak to Peak has tied the game, and that was perfect small ball. Perfect small ball as he laid it down the first base side, and they've tied the game at 1. Here's Jack Wather, the catcher. Man, that was beautiful. As much as you hate to see that go against the Bee Diggers, that was executed perfectly. And they took a chance, and they went on the right pitch. The wine and offering. Swing and a miss, and a fastball well up in the zone. No balls and 1 strike. Guzman ready. And the pitch. Swag and a miss. That was pure gas as well. And the count levels, or check it. It's 0-2 on Jack Wather. The pitch. Fastball high. 1 ball and 2 strikes, just like that. The Bee Diggers used the long ball, and Peak to Peak got a huge break, and then the small ball was able to plate them the run. Line and pitch. Swung on, pop foul. Out of play on the right side. Count remains at 1-2. Oh, it's hard to win a game with just 1 run. Neither team's going to be able to do that now. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 down. Guzman delivers. Swung on, line towards right field. To his left is Walter. He makes the catch. And that'll end the top of the 5th inning. However, it's a brand new ball game. Peak to Peak gets a run. Without the benefit of a hit, there was an error, and the bases were left empty. 4.5 have been played. It is Peak to Peak 1, Brush 1 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Let's head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Brush 1, Peak to Peak 1 in this opening round 3A state tournament game from Butch Butler Field in Greeley. It's anybody's game right now as Nick Kavakas will face the bottom of the order for Brush. Brandon Walter, Mikey Gutierrez, and Grayson Simmons. This will be pitch number 70 thrown by Kavakas, and I cannot stress enough, they've got to get to the bullpen. They get to the bullpen, and the Bee Diggers will be in business. Wind and pitch, squaring to bunt, and he lays it down foul. Behind the plate, it's 0-1. An error, a wild pitch, a ground ball, and a suicide squeeze accounted for Peak to Peak's run. They only have 1 hit in the game, the Bee Diggers with 3. The wind in the 0-1. Swing and a miss and a breaking ball, and he pulled off it badly. No balls and 2 strikes. Walter trying to dig in here. See if he can make some contact against the left-hander. The pitch. Swing and a miss. He tied him up and struck him out on 3 pitches. That fastball was just way too good. And there's 1 down for Kavakas. That is strikeout number 4. 1 down for Mikey Gutierrez. Mikey popped to the second baseman. Bagnato his first time up. The pitch, and that is up and away. 1 ball and no strikes. We could be down to a 2-inning game here. Anybody's ball game right now. Man, if you lose, you got to go through the loser's bracket and win a bunch of games in a row to get to the title game. The pitch, swung on and grounded up the middle, headed for center field. That's a base hit by Mikey G. The 4th hit by the Bee Diggers. And now lots of speed on the bases. And you know that head coach Kevin Fergus is going to be watching the move by the first baseman, Kavakas. He thought there was a balk when Hirschfeld was picked off. Here's Grayson Simmons. He struck out his first time up. And the G-man has come up in situations where he has delivered this year. Here comes another one. With 1 out and 1 on in the bottom of the 5th inning. Tied at 1 between Brush and Peak to Peak. The stretch and pitch. The runner goes, lays it down right towards the pitcher. Throw to first, going to be in time. And there's 2 down. Interesting play there. Not sure what happened there because Mikey G had a good jump. You'd figure you let that one go. Instead, it's just an out. That'll bring up Hirschfeld. Yeah, the issue is, do you let it go and see if Gutierrez would have stolen second and then bunt him over to third? Hirschfeld is 0 for 1, grounded out and walked. The pitch, and that is just a little bit low. 1 ball and no strikes, and Kavakas in this inning's only thrown 7 pitches. So that's good news for him when he's got 2 down already. In a 1-1 game, both teams have committed an error as well. Brush's error really cost them big time. Long pause, 1-0. Low with a changeup, 2-0. Throw back to second. Gutierrez back in standing. It was almost caught napping over there. 2 balls and no strikes. Live in your world and learn in ours at Northeastern. For information about classes available to you, go to njc.edu. 2-0. Time is called. Two balls and no strikes to Hirschfeld. The stretch. And the offering. That is a ball a little bit high. Just above the letters, it's 3-0. And on deck is baby Matos Garcia, who does have a hit in this game. 3 balls, no strikes. Gutierrez at second. A 1-1 game in the bottom of the 5th inning. And the pitch. And he takes a fastball for a strike down the middle. Took something off it. It's 3-1. Three and 1 to Hirschfeld. And BJ is very much a spray hitter. He's got a big gap in left center. If he can somehow go that way, but it really doesn't matter, and go to right center, Mikey would score either way. The pitch, and that tails away. Second time that Hirschfeld's been walked. First and second for Arnoldo Matos Garcia. He singled and then grounded out to the shortstop. There's a huge at-bat in this game. And Kavakis definitely wants to get him with Peterson on deck. So Gutierrez leads off of second. Hirschfeld's got to watch a possible pickoff attempt at first. The stretch and the offering. And that tails away while Wather caught the ball right at the top of his glove. If not, that would have gone to the screen. 1 ball and no strikes. That's pitch number 81 for Kavakis. So now it's starting to build up the pitch count here in the 5th inning. The stretch. And the 1-0. That tails up and away. 2-0. It's getting a little bit interesting here with a 2 ball, no strike count. But there are 2 down, which means Kavakis, despite being in trouble, is only 1 pitch away. Here comes head coach Derek Urban. Matos Garcia will have a visit with head coach Kevin Fergus. Stop, shop, and save on all your grocery needs and snacks for game time enjoyment. That's at the Brush Grocery Cart. You can also pay your public service bill and access Western Union. Brush Grocery Cart, 1302 West Edison Street in Brush. Conversation breaks up on the hill. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 on, 2 down. On the bottom of the 5th inning, the Beat Diggers and Pumas of Peak to Peak are tied at 1. And Matos Garcia, wearing the old-time stirrups, they're making a little bit of a comeback. Same story with Hirschfeld at first. The stretch. And the 2-0. Tails away. 3-0. All of a sudden, Kavakis is losing location. Baby's got to be taking here with Peterson on deck. 3 balls and no strikes. Baby awaits the pitch, and here it is. That's right there for a strike inside corner. With a fastball, it's 3-1. The runners take their leads. 3 balls, 1 strike. Kavakis, the left-hander, gets the sign from Wather. At the belt. And the pitch swung and a foul to the screen. 3-2. Oh, man, he took a big swing at that one. Now the runners will be going with a pitch with 2 down. So now a base hit will definitely score a run unless it's in the infield. So here we go. Big pitch in the game for Kavakis. It is a 3-2 to Matos Garcia. The stretch. And the offering. Swinging a foul. He might have swung at ball 4. That ball was tailing away. Baby got a piece of it. It remains at 3-2. Man, you want Petey up there with men on base. Such a huge key when you got a power hitter up there who's got 7 home runs this year, including 1 in this game. Again, the runners will be taking off with a pitch. The stretch. And the 3-2. Swung on, popped up along the right field line. Should be a play in foul territory, and it's made by Tommy Schreiber. And the Bee Diggers do not score in the bottom of the 5th inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left. We head to the 6th in this 3A state tournament game from Greeley. Brush 1, Peak to Peak 1 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. We might have 2 innings to go in this game, maybe more. We're in the 6th inning. Brush 1, Peak to Peak 1. Nico Guzman is working on a 1-hitter. At one point, he retired 12 in a row. The lone run he gave up was unearned. He's thrown just 61 pitches. It'll be the 9-1 and 2 hitters, Anthony Colgate, Alex Bradfield, and Matthew Bagnato. And if the Bee Diggers can get out of this one unscathed, then the advantage certainly goes to the home team in this one. Now here is Nico. The pitch. Bounces it to the screen. 1 ball and no strikes. Only 18 balls thrown by Guzman today against 44 strikes. An outstanding 2.5 to 1 ratio. And the 1-0. That's a fastball for a strike down the middle. Just above the knees, it's 1-1. By the way, the Bayfield University game is in a hail delay. The pitch swung on and lifted down the right field side. Brandon Walter to his left makes the catch, and there's 1 down. And that game is in Frederick. So hopefully we don't get any of that nasty weather here, especially during a game like this. Alex Bradfield has the only base hit for Peak to Peak in this game. He's also grounded out. He's 1 for 2. Gutierrez playing in at third, anticipating a bunt. Wine and pitch squaring to bunt, takes a curveball up and away. 1 ball and no strikes. With Matthew Bagnato on deck. Wine and pitch squaring to bunt again, swings and misses. Decided to pull the bat back and took a swing at the cutter, and he missed it. Count levels at 1-1. Nico ready. Wine and offering. And that is a strike on that changeup on the outside corner. Belt high. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. To Alex Bradfield. Wine and pitch. Swung on and grounded up the middle. Shortstop Rosenbrock has it. Spins. Throws. And late. It's a base hit. A little bit offline. It went off Hirschfeld's glove. But we'll call that a base hit. The ball was hit in the hole. And Bradfield has both hits for Peak to Peak. That was nearly a sparkling play on both ends. Rosenbrock just to get to it, then had to spin behind the bag. And then Hirschfeld nearly dug it out. Here's Matthew Bagnato. He is 0 for 2. He popped out on a bunt and then popped out legitimately to center field. We're in the top of the 6th inning in this 1-1 game. The pitch. Fastball is a strike. Belt high in the outer half. It's 0-1. The Bee Diggers took a 1-0 lead on a 4th inning home run from Alec Peterson, but on a suicide squeeze by Tommy Schreiber, Peak to Peak countered 1 inning ago. Throw back to first. Nope, nothing doing. Just a step ball by Nico. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. The stretch. Runner goes. Swing and a miss. Throw to second. The tag. And out at second base as the tag is applied by Rosenbrock is Alex Bradfield. And there's 2 down. A perfect throw by Petey. And that could not have been any better. I don't think Rosenbrock had to move the glove much. But that was a good jump that Bradfield got, and still He was out. No balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 here to Bagnotto. That's a big out in this game. That could have changed the whole inning. Now Nico looking to put the hitter away. The number 2 hitter in this lineup. And the 0-2. Fastball is upstairs. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rominger Jewelry and Gifts is the leader in Northeast Colorado for diamonds, jewelry, watches, and expert in-store jewelry repairs. In downtown Sterling, down and away. Nico kind of slipped off the mound, 2-2. So, that action will be going on for a while at Frederick High School with a 9-inning game between Sterling and Valley that Sterling won, and in a hail delay between Bayfield and University. 2-2. Swung on and lined on one hop towards Matos Garcia. Plays it off his chest. And that'll be an error. Safe is going to be Bagnotto at first. Waited for it and had the ball play off his body, and the Bee-Diggers have committed their second error of the game. Here is Mitchell Ward, who's popped out twice. Brush is not playing the defense that they're capable of. It's been mainly about Guzman. So peak to peak is not done yet. At least hitting. Hopefully the Bee-Diggers can thwart any threat here. The stretch and the offering. Fastball is upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes to Ward. Nothing has been hit to the left fielder, Simmons. He hasn't caught a ball. The pitch. Fastball is a strike on the outer half just above the knees. And the count levels at 1-1. With 2 down in the top of the 6th inning. Deadlocked at 1. The stretch by Guzman. And the pitch. Upstairs. He hasn't been behind in the count to too many hitters. But now down 2-1 to Mitchell Ward in the top half of the 6th inning. And the offering. Swung on and grounded up the middle. Second baseman Matos Garcia to his right. Flips to second. An excellent play for the force by Matos Garcia. And that does it. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and a man left. To the bottom of the 6th we go after the break. The score. Brush 1, Peak to Peak 1 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning in Greeley. It's Brush 1, Peak to Peak 1. And this is a great opportunity for Brush now with the 3, 4, and 5 hitters up. The best hitters on this team. Alec Peterson, Kyle Rosenbrock, and Nico Guzman against the left-hander Nick Kavakis, who has thrown 87 pitches thus far. The wine and offering. Swung on and lifted foul and out of play. Peterson has struck out and homered. He's 1 for 2, and now the sun has completely disappeared. Love to get this game in before any rain descends upon this field. Peterson awaits the pitch, and the breaking ball is outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bee-Diggers have 6 outs to play with now, and Peak to Peak with only 3. 1-1. Swung on. That is pop foul and out of play. Count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes on Alec Peterson. Here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. That was pitch number 90 by Kavakis. He's done an excellent job, as has Guzman. And the 1-2, and the curveball is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Puma fans wanted it, but it was definitely off the plate. 2-2 to Petey. Here is the wind and pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out on a fastball up and away. Same pitch that Peterson struck out on the first time, and there's 1 down. Strikeout number 5 for Kavakis. And here is Rosenbrock. Rosenbrock is struck out and lined out. He is 0 for 2. Time for Kyle here to deliver. Wind and pitch. Down and in. He's delivered so many times in the last 4 years. But he loves these situations, as did Petey. But fortunately for Petey, just wasn't his at-bat. But it was his at-bat the second time up. 1 ball and no strikes. And the offering. And he swings and misses at a ball tailing down in the zone. 1-1. A lot of fastball, breaking ball, changeup combination here for Nick Kavakis. Tall, lanky left-hander, a senior. 1-1 pitch. Swung on in line towards left center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. And the Bee-Diggers have their 5th hit of the game. Rosenbrock with his first. And again, can the Bee-Diggers execute? We had a freak play earlier with automatic double play. A runner picked off. Bee-Diggers had 2 on and 2 down in the bottom of the 5th inning. Could not score the run. And right now, Nico is up there under threatening skies. In a 1-1 game, the stretch by Kavakis. The pitch swung on line foul off to the right. Good swing there by Nico, scoring the bunt initially. And then took a big hack against the left-hander. No balls and 1 strike. We've had 1 extra base hit in the entire game of the 7 hits, and that was the home run by Peterson. Rosenbrock with a 2-step lead. And the offering. Swung on and popped up right behind the plate, and that's going to be caught by Swather. Didn't have much trajectory. And there's 2 down. And here is Zane Fowles, grounded out twice. And Nico just didn't get the pitch he wanted there. Fowles does have 1 homer this season. It came against Faith Christian, so he does have some power. The stretch by Kavakis. And the pitch. Swing and a pop-up into foul territory up the first base side and out of play into the peak-to-peak dugout. It's 0-1. Well, when the Bee-Diggers were at the state tournament 3 years ago, they had the same situation. They won a 1-run game against Weld Central, 3-2, a tight game. Prior to that, Eaton destroyed Lamar. Well, today Eaton beat up Gunnison pretty badly, and now the Bee-Diggers are involved in a tight game. So hopefully that trend continues and Brush can win by a run. No balls and 1 strike with 2 down. The stretch. Pitch to foul. And he swings and fouls it to the backstop on a fastball down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes. Okay. And a steal of second. Rosenbrock is in there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now Zane Fow is up there. We had a weather alert that we brought to you. Rosenbrock did single. And then Nico Guzman popped out. Zane Fow has fouled off 2 pitches. Then a ball, then a steal by Rosenbrock. It is 1-2. The pitch. Swing and a miss and a fastball tailing away. And the Bee-Diggers are done in the 6th inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a man left at second. And we have threatening skies here in Greeley. Brush 1, peak to peak 1. You are listening to the 2015 Colorado Class 3A Baseball Tournament on 1010. John Beltran back at Butch Butler Field in Greeley, just about ready to resume action between the Bee-Diggers of Brush and the Peak to Peak Pumas. Tied at 1 going into the 7th. And it looks like Nick Kavakis is going to come back out there in the bottom of the 7th inning, despite a delay that's lasted well over an hour. By the time we resume game action, it'll be about an hour and 25-minute weather delay. Lightning and rain here in Greeley. And you rarely see that when you have that long of a delay and you bring back a starting pitcher, especially one that has thrown 101 pitches. But It's Peak to Peak's best chance to win. The Bee Diggers not taking chances with Nico Guzman after throwing 77 pitches. And B.J. Hirschfeld will be taking the mound for Brush when we start the top of the 7th inning. Guzman was getting ready to throw the first pitch of the 7th when the delay ensued. And now the umpire checking in here to make sure that we're ready to go. The field is still being groomed, but just about finished raking along the first and third base sides are the two ground crew members. Again, a recap. The Bee Diggers scored their run in the bottom of the 4th inning, a home run from Alec Peterson. And then in the top of the 5th, Bee Diggers committed an error, and that led to a run on a suicide squeeze by Tommy Shriver. And we now sit in the top of the 7th inning. And the 4, 5, and 6 hitters will be coming up for Peak to Peak. Bayfield and University back underway, but they're only in the 1st inning there, and that's game number 2. That was scheduled to start nearly 3 hours ago. So they've really got to iron things out over there. All right, so the defensive alignment for Brush. Aaron Williams at first. Baby Maltos Garcia at second. The third baseman is Mikey Gutierrez. Kyle Rosenbrock is at short. Around the outfield, Grayson Simmons is in left. Nico Guzman in center. The right fielder is Zane Fowl. Behind the plate is Alec Peterson. And on the mound, B.J. Hirschfeld, who has had his ups and downs this season, to say the least. Was so good against Resurrection Christian in a 4-0 victory through 5 scoreless innings. But he scuffled at other times, but he's taken the ball quite a bit as long as he keeps the ball down. Yeah, when he has the issues, he throws a lot of pitches up in the zone. And he's got to get used to that mound. He's grooming the mound right now, and you can almost tell with the way BJ warms up if he's going to be ready to go. He throws hard, and he'll be facing Blake Bride, who popped out and struck out against Nico Guzman. So the official delay time will be about an hour and 25 minutes. And again, it's a short turnaround. Eaton has been waiting since they finished off Gunnison about 4 hours ago, winning that game 11-0. That game took just over an hour and a half, if even that. And Hirschfeld is completing his warm-ups. And it's amazing, a game that went along quickly, and then you had the long rain delay. Could be decided here in a matter of minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. It would almost be justified that as well as the starting pitchers threw, if they went about 9 or 10 innings, but I'm sure that's what they're hoping against for the crew here. That just extends the workday, so to speak. So here is Blake Bride to begin the top of the 7th inning after a 1 hour and 25-minute rain delay from Butch Butler Field in Greeley. And Peterson now having just a final word with Hirschfeld. Hirschfeld is still working on that mound. Hopefully he's comfortable on the hill. Righty against righty. As we start the 7th, the pitch, swing, and a miss, and a fastball up in the zone. No balls and 1 strike. Nowhere near a strike was that pitch. It was up and in. Here's the wine and offering. Swung on and lifted to left field. Grayson Simmons goes back. He misjudged it, and it's over his glove. Near the fence. Simmons will get it back in. It's a double for Bride. Oh, man, Simmons played that horribly. That should have been a routine fly, and Grayson knows it. It'll be a double, but that was just totally misplayed out there on a fly ball into left field. And here is Zach Fiegelson. Yeah, that play has got to be made. And now Peak to Peak has the go-ahead run at second base. The stretch and pitch squaring to bunt, and it's fouled to the screen. No balls and one strike. Well, that'll put a lot of pressure on the Bee Diggers going into the bottom of the seventh. If Peak to Peak scores in this frame, a ton of pressure. 0-1, and they played small ball very well earlier in this game in that fifth inning. The stretch and the offering squaring to bunt, and it's a fastball just outside. I mean, it certainly was hit well, but a very makeable play. 1 ball and 1 strike. And Bride is 180 feet away from giving Peak to Peak the lead. The stretch and the pitch, and that is over but low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Peak to Peak came into the tournament as the 12th seed, beating Basalt 10-2 after downing Alamosa. Swung on, that is popped up into center field. Nico Guzman to his right makes the catch. The runner is now going to tag. Now he hesitates, and Rosenbrock to third, the slide, and out at third base. That was a monumental base running mistake by Blake Bride. Boy, and the happiest guy on the field is Grayson Simmons, no doubt about it. It's a double play. What a huge base running mistake. He started, he stopped, and then he got caught up, and he was tagged out by a mile. And the pitch is away. 1 ball and no strikes. This is Braden Wire. The pitch swung on and lifted into shallow left center field. That's going to be trouble. No, Rosenbrock is out there. He was playing super deep, and Rosenbrock makes the catch. And retired is Wire. Well, no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and the bases were left empty. Let us head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Brush 1, Peak to Peak 1 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. All right, let's head to the bottom of the 7th inning. The Bee Diggers need a run, and they move on against Peak to Peak. We are deadlocked at 1. And here is Aaron Williams hitting in Brandon Walter's spot. Against the left-hander Kavakis, he's thrown 101 pitches. Here's the wind and pitch. Swung on and fouled off to the right. Count is at no balls and 1 strike. To Williams. His first at bat of the game. He had the 2-run single against St. Mary's that ended it on Tuesday, 11-1 in 6 innings. Wind and pitch. Swung on and fouled off to the right again. Not reading that fastball, tailing away. And the count goes to 0-2. A leadoff double by Blake Bride in the 7th, but he was erased at third base on a huge miscue. And now the Bee Diggers are looking to end this thing and take on the Eaton Reds. No balls and 2 strikes to Williams. Wind and pitch. Low. Took something off it. And the count is sitting at 1-2. Kavakis ready. And he turns and he kicks and he fires. The breaking ball's down and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now, even if it's tied at 1 after 7, man, you have to think how much longer can Kavakis go. He had the long rain delay. He's now thrown 105 pitches. But the B-Diggers don't want to worry about that. They just want to get the run right now. 2-2 pitch. Outside with a fastball. It is 3-2 to Williams. And you know that if he gets on, Mikey Gutierrez more than likely will try to bunt him over with Simmons and then Hirschfeld behind him. 3-2 to Aaron Williams. The left-hander Kavakis gets the sign from Wather. Here's the wind and pitch. Swung on, grounded slowly. Left side, Bry, the shortstop, has got it. Throws on the run, low, but in time. And Williams is out at first base. And there's one down. In the bottom of the seventh inning, here's Mikey Gutierrez, who popped out and singled. Man, what a way to begin the 3A state tournament for the B-Diggers. Gutierrez officially at 1 for 2. As the B-Digger third baseman settles in, Here's the wind and pitch, and that fastball tails up and away. Got it 1 ball and no strikes. Your one-stop center for home improvement projects, Ackley Building Center, 1402 Mill Street in Brush. Flooring, paint, tools, appliances, and more. Ackley Building Center. Swag, and a miss, and a fastball tailing away, letter high. And the count levels at 1-1 to Mikey Gutierrez. With one down and the bases empty in the bottom of the seventh inning. Brush and Peak to Peak are deadlocked at 1 in this double elimination tournament. And that is taken for a strike, a fastball just above the knees. 1-2 to Gutierrez. Nick Kavakis about to throw pitch number 111. And here it is. And he swings and taps it foul behind the plate. Remains at 1-2. Yeah, Peak to Peak is a team that can win a game in the tournament, but be hard to win more than that when you don't have much pitching depth. When one starter has 67% of your wins, that's a lot. Here's the wind. And the 1-2. Swung on and lifted into left field down the line. To his right is Fiegelson along the line, and he makes the catch in foul territory for the out. And there's 2 down. 2 down for Grayson Simmons, who struck out and delivered a sacrifice bunt. Yeah, Mikey got way under that one. Lefty against lefty situation. Let's see, the G-Man can deliver here. Here's the wind and pitch. Down and away with a fastball. 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they extend Kavakis to about 150 pitches. You figure that he throws free and easy. 1-0. Swing and a miss late on that fastball was Simmons. And the count is at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down in the bottom of the seventh inning. We're deadlocked at 1 between Brush and Peak to Peak from Butch Butler Field in Greeley. And the offering. Fastball is on the outside corner. Belt high, it's 1-2. Oh, this will be a huge emotional letdown for the team that loses this game as hard as they fought. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The G-Man ready. Wind and pitch. Swing and a miss. Blew it right by him. And Kavakis has a 1-2-3 seventh inning. Let's head to the 8th. We go to an extra, maybe more. Peak to Peak 1, Brush 1 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Let's head to the 8th inning. Peak to Peak 1, Brush 1. It'll be the 7, 8, and 9 batters for Peak to Peak against right-hander B.J. Hirschfeld. Had a 9-pitch inning and gave up a double on a misplay, but then was able to get out of that jam unscathed. Tommy Schreiber had a squeeze bunt, which scored a run in the 5th inning, countering Brush's run, which came in the 4th. Schreiber is grounded out and had that sack bunt, officially 0 for 1 in the game. Righty against righty. Hirschfeld, the junior, gets the sign and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Threw it right by him. One with a blazing fastball. It's 0-1. He feels kind of like a heavy air after all that rain. And the offering swung on and lifted down the right field side. It's into foul territory, and it's 0-2. As Zane Fowl gave chase. No balls and 2 strikes to Tommy Schreiber. And with all the moisture on that ball, Hirschfeld wants a new one. No balls and 2 strikes. To lead off the 8th inning, as we have gone extras after a rain delay. Wind and pitch. Swung on and lifted into deep center field, going way back as Guzman towards the track, and he made the catch! He made the catch as he went to the ground, shy of the warning track, and Nico Guzman robbed Schreiber of a double, maybe a triple. There's one down. Oh, an outstanding play. That's a game saver for Brush by Nico Guzman, who did a great job on the hill. And Nico read it right off the bat. And here's Jack Wather, who's grounded out and lined out. He's 0 for 2. And that pitch was up. Well, you got to get some defensive support. And that's what Hirschfeld got there. The wind and offering. Swung on line. That's going to be a base hit. You can't stop that one. A base hit into center field. That is hit number 4. Four peak to peak. I'm thinking Bayfield, who Brush played 2 years ago and lost that first game, will have a courtesy runner. Bayfield, of course, playing University right now. Ben Pinkerman is the courtesy runner at first, 4 peak to peak. And for the second straight inning, they've got a base runner looking to claim the lead. But they had the leadoff man on. Of course, in the 7th inning, this is the number 2 man that is on right now. Here's Anthony Colgate. He's 0 for 2. The pitch rides inside. 1 ball, no strike. Nearly hit him. That would have been a disaster with Alex Bradfield on deck, who's singled twice. You got to get this guy. The number 9 hitter's got to be retired. Will Colgate bunt with 1 out? The stretch and the offering. Swing and a miss, letter high fastball. And the count levels at 1-1. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. We're tied at 1 in the top of the 8th inning. The stretch. Hirschfeld steps off. Accidents and illness can strike at any time, day and night, and when they do, every second counts. As a Level 3 Trauma Center, Colorado Plains Medical Center is ready to handle any type of emergency. Throw back to first. Back in standing is Pinkerman. Big pitch coming up here for Hirschfeld on the 1 ball, 1 strike count to Anthony Colgate. The stretch. Throw back to first, and he threw it away down the right field line. That's going to be at least a couple of bases there for Pinkerman. He's around second, headed for third, and then Mikey Gutierrez is going to have to block that baseball. It's a huge error by Hirschfeld, his second of the game on a terrible pickoff throw. And now the go-ahead run is 90 feet away. Williams had no shot at that one. Man, that's why you got to concentrate on the number 9 hitter. Now you got to get him out without allowing that run to score. Now the good news for the Bee Diggers, they'll have the top of the order coming up in the bottom of the 8th inning against Nick Kavakis, but will they be down a run or tied? That's the question, as peak to peak took advantage of a Brush error in the 5th inning. Now looking to do it in the 8th inning. Deadlocked at 1. And there's a huge amount of foul territory here. That's why once the ball went down the line, there was no way that Pinkerman wasn't going to take 2 bags on that one. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. The infield has to play in. There's no choice for Brush. They got to cut off that run at the plate. Hirschfeld gets a sign from Peterson. And now time is called. Apparently they were crossed up on the signs. Peterson out there repositioning the defensive alignment as well. And Peak to Peak has done the little things right to stay in the game, and they might actually take their first lead. The stretch by Hirschfeld. And the offering, squaring to bunt, and he pops it foul to the screen. Now the count is at 1-2. That might eliminate the bunt possibility for Colgate. At 1 ball and 2 strikes. The infield playing way in. Except Mikey Gutierrez. He's even with the grass at 3rd. The offering. Swing and a miss. A strikeout of Colgate. And there's 2 down, but you're not out of it yet because Alex Bradfield has singled twice. Now the infield can play normal depth, and you got to watch out for a bunt here. Bradfield can fly, and he's a left-handed hitter. And Gutierrez knows that. He's playing in. This is not over yet. This is far from over. The stretch. Hirschfeld comes home, and the breaking ball is a strike on the inner half belt high. It's 0-1. No balls and 1 strike. A big strikeout by Hirschfeld. But he needs to record this out. The pitch. Swung on and grounded first base side foul to another breaking ball. It is 0-2. Here is where a pitcher makes his mark. Does he have the out pitch to get out a quality hitter? In Alex Bradfield. Bradfield, a guy who's been tearing it up all season for Bayfield. A .478 hitter coming in. The pitch. Swung on. That ball is grounded up the middle of the second baseman, Matos Garcia, and he cannot make a play. It'll be a base hit. He threw it to first to his right. It'll be a base hit. A run scores. That was on an 0-2 pitch. And Peak to Peak now leads 2-1 in the 8th inning. Yeah, nothing he could really do to his right. He got a glove on it, but it would have been too tough. You put the ball on the ground with that type of speed. So it is a base hit. 3rd hit of the game for Alex Bradfield. And here's Matthew Bagnato. He's 0 for 3. The stretch. And the offering. Swung on and lifted into shallow center field. Matos Garcia's out and he can't make the play. Guzman picks it up. He'll have to run it in. It's a base hit. Going to 3rd is Bradfield. It's a Texas leaguer. And the inning continues for Peak to Peak. That'll send up Mitchell Ward, who is 0 for 3. And they're sensing victory here, even though they've got to retire some excellent B-digger hitters coming up. Boy, a 2-out, 2-strike base hit for Bradfield. The stretch. Pitch to Ward. Swung on. That is lifted into center field. Nico Guzman to his right. Comes in. Makes the catch. And the inning comes to an end. Not before Bayfield scores the go-ahead run here in the 8th inning. They do it on 3 hits. There was a huge beat-digger error and 2 men left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It is Peak to Peak 2, Brush 1 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Last chance for the beat-diggers as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning from Butch Butler Field in Greeley. They trail Peak to Peak 2-1 on an infield single from Alex Bradfield. This will be pitch number 117 from Nick Kavakas. He faces B.J. Hirschfeld, who's walked twice, and he grounded out in his first at-bat. It'll be Hirschfeld, Matos Garcia, and Peterson. The pitch. And the fastball is low. Took something off it. 1 ball and no strikes. The winner will play shortly thereafter against Eaton. The loser plays tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock at Frederick High School against Gunnison in an elimination game. And the 1-0. Fastball is upstairs. 2 balls and no strikes. Yeah, for some reason, Kavakis has had trouble pitching to Hirschfeld because he's issued just 2 walks in both to him. 2-0. Kicks and fires, and that is a strike on the outer half with a fastball. Count moves to 2-1 to B.J. Hirschfeld. The left-hander looks in. The pitch outside. 3-1. 7 strikeouts. And we'll see. Maybe 3 walks. I don't know if Hirschfeld's taking all the way. 3-1 pitch to B.J. That's right down the middle for a strike. Got a little bit of the inner half. It's 3-2. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Hirschfeld to begin the bottom of the 8th inning in Greeley in this opening round 3A state tournament game. Here's the wind and pitch. Swung on line down the right field line for a base hit. Hirschfeld quickly running to first. He's going to be in there as the ball was retrieved quickly by Tommy Schreiber. But Hirschfeld has a base hit. It is Brush's 6th of the game, now evening their total with peak to peak. And the tying run is at first base for baby Matos Garcia, who is singled, grounded out, and popped out. He's 1 for 3. Baby had his base hit his first time up. Will the Bee Diggers try to play small ball or just swing away with the heart of the order coming up here in the bottom of the 8th inning? Down 2-1, the stretch by Kavakis. And the pitch squaring to bunt, and he misses it, strike 1. Tailed away, missed the entire ball. No balls and 1 strike. Matos Garcia digging back in. Hirschfeld's got to be very careful with that lead. You don't want to get picked off after a base hit. The stretch, squaring to bunt, up and away. Throw back to first, back in standing is Hirschfeld. And the count is level at 1 ball and 1 strike. Baby does have lots of speed. If he lays down a good one, it's not going to be an easy play either. 1-1 to Matos Garcia. He awaits the pitch. Here it is. And he pops it foul to the screen. Gotta execute. It's 1-2. Now he's going to have to swing away. Yeah, you don't want him to bunt now. You got to swing away. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out in the bottom of the 8th inning. Peak to Peak has taken the lead 2-1 on Alex Bradfield's RBI single. Hirschfeld with a 2-step lead at first, being ever so careful. The stretch, the pitch, swinging a foul straight back. It remains at 1-2 to Arnoldo Matos Garcia. Baby digging into the batter's box. Hirschfeld again with a short lead. He looks back at Hirschfeld. The offering, swing and a miss at a breaking ball. Struck him out. That was nasty. It just dove down in the zone. There's 1 down. 1 down for Alec Peterson, who has struck out, homered, and struck out. He is 1 for 3. You do have home run power between Peterson and Rosenbrock, who's on deck. So if you're going to lose this game, you're going to lose with your best right now. But the Bee Diggers would love to be playing right after this game. Well, it'd be quite a mismatch, though, with Eaton and Peak to Peak. Peak to Peak's pitching would be exhausted here just with Kavakas all done. He's thrown 127 pitches. Hirschfeld again with a short lead. Pitch to Peterson. Fastball is outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, Petey really doesn't go the other way much. He pulls a lot of pitches. With those pitches tailing away, he's looking for something on the inner half. 1 ball and no strikes. And the offering outside, 2-0 to Alec Peterson. And we'll have a visit to the hill. And now coming up is pitch number 130 after that visit. Looks like this is going to be Kavakas' game. I don't think they'll take him out. There's no way. This is just to settle down and to get back into the groove. That's the reason for the conversation. 2 balls, no strike, 1 on, 1 out. B.J. Hirschfeld began the inning with a base hit. Then Arnoldo Maltos Garcia struck out. So Petey digs back in. At 2-0. Hirschfeld with a short stride off of first. Pitch to Petey. Inside, and the ball is off the glove of the catcher Wather, and advancing on the pass ball is Hirschfeld to second. And it's 3-0. Hirschfeld at second. Now let's see if they just walk Peterson. The winning run would be at first, though, and hard to place the winning run at first. 3 balls and no strikes. The tying run is at second base in the bottom half of the 8th inning. The stretch by Kavakas. 3-0. The strike took something off it down at the knees, and it's 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike to Peterson. Hirschfeld with a short lead off of second. He's got to be careful with every single base against this lefty. The offering swung on, popped up on the right side, heading into foul territory. There's trouble with the ball, and it's caught, though, along the first base side by Wire. He had trouble spotting it, but he made the catch in foul territory. Nearly collided with his catcher Wather, and there's 2 down. So Braden Wire makes the catch, 2 down. And here's Kyle Rosenbrock, who has struck out, lined out, and singled. He is 1 for 3. The Bee Diggers are down to their final out of this game, and perhaps looking at a 10 o'clock game tomorrow morning. Unless Rosenbrock can deliver against the left-hander Nick Kavakas. His base hit last time up was to center field. The stretch. And the offering. Swing and a miss through the fastball right by him. No balls and 1 strike to Kyle Rosenbrock. 2-1 peak to peak in the bottom of the 8th inning. Kavakas stretches. And the pitch. And the breaking ball is a strike. Oh, man, it got the strike zone at the knees on the outer half. It's 0-2. And the Bee Diggers are down to their final strike. No balls and 2 strikes on Rosenbrock. If the Bee Diggers cannot rally, they'll play Gunnison tomorrow morning at Frederick High School at 10 o'clock on 1010 and KSIR.com. The pitch up and away with a fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Rosenbrock. Rosenbrock digs in. Hirschfeld takes the lead. The stretch. And the 1-2. Swing and a foul back. Oh, boy. He got a piece of that baseball to the screen. It remains at 1-2 to Kyle Rosenbrock. The Bee Diggers have made a lot of errors in this game, and that's partially what's both runs as a result of the errors. Will it cost him, or will Rosenbrock bail them out? 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch. Breaking ball is outside. Count goes to 2-2. Nico Guzman is on deck. Rosenbrock digs back in. He will await the 2 ball, 2 strike pitch from Kavakis. Here it is. Swung on and fouled back. Remains at 2-2. Man. Just one swing. One swing. That's all Kyle needs to change the game and perhaps win the game. Or at least tie the game. 2-2 with a man at second and 2 down. Peak to Peak leads 2-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning. The left-hander, Nick Kavakis, stretches. And the pitch. Swung on in line towards center field and going back, and it's over the head of the center fielder. Here comes Hirschfeld. Bradfield chasing it down. Rosenbrock around second. He'll stay right there. And the Beat Diggers have tied the game on a 2-out double by Kyle Rosenbrock. Holy mahungus. And here comes Nico Guzman on a line drive, driven over Bradfield's head. Guzman is 1 for 3. He singled, grounded out, and popped up. And it looked like Bradfield might have misjudged that as well. It was on a line he wasn't sure. He came in a little bit, then went back, and the ball sailed over his head. And Rosenbrock is the winning run at second base. Unbelievable. Here is Nico, the stretch. Pitch to Guzman. Swing and a miss. Oh, that fastball was well up in the zone. Count is sitting at no balls and 1 strike. He wanted to swing at the first pitch, and it was not a strike, but he made it one. Rosenbrock off of second. And the offering swung on and fouled off to the right. Count moves to 0-2. Are we going to go to the 9th inning? Or can the Beat Diggers win it right now? No balls and 2 strikes. And Kavakis has to be running out of gas. Here comes pitch number 142. Guzman awaits. Here it is. Swing, and it fouled it at the plate. Got a piece of the baseball, barely. Almost held on to by Wather. It remains at 0-2. Back in the box is Guzman. Kavakis gets the sign. The stretch. And the offering. Fastball inside. Oh, that was a close take. Very close. The count is now sitting at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rosenbrock off of second. The stretch. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Guzman strikes out, but the game continues. 1 run on 2 hits. No errors and a man left. We head to the 9th at Butch Butler Field in Greeley. Brush 2, Peak to Peak 2 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. We head to the 9th. Brush 2, Peak to Peak 2. Alex Bradfield gave Peak to Peak a lead on an RBI single in the 8th inning. Then with 2 strikes and 2 outs, Kyle Rosenbrock with a line drive double over Bradfield's head and center. And here's Blake Bride, who's popped out, struck out, and doubled. And then he made a brutal base running mistake in the 7th inning and was eliminated at third base on a fly ball by the on-deck hitter, Zach Fiegelson. B.J. Hirschfeld now begins his 3rd inning of work. This is almost turning into a start for him. Here's the wind and pitch. Swung on and popped foul and out of play. No balls and 1 strike. And we'll see if Kavakis takes the mound. Yep. In fact, he won't, it looks like. Thanks to my buddy Jack Godert. He pointed out to me that we have activity in the bullpen here for Peak to Peak. No balls and one strike. Wind and pitch. Swinging a foul off to the right. Yeah, Mitchell Ward, the shortstop, is warming up in the bullpen for Peak to Peak. So after well over 140 pitches, Kavakis will be done. It's 0-2 to Bride. The pitch. Swing and a miss and a fastball up and in. And there's one down in the ninth inning. Here is Zach Fiegelson. He struck out, reached in an air, and popped out. He is 0 for 3. Hitting from the left side against the righty Hirschfeld, who's been pretty much spot on. He's thrown 25 pitches, 21 for strikes. Wine and offering. That is a strike on the outside corner. Looked like a changeup. It's 0-1. He gets to get a little bit darker again. Man, we're not out of it at all. No balls and one strike. And the offering. And the breaking ball is down and away. That levels the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Make Stubbs Gas and Oil your next stop heading out of town. You can gas up your vehicle, sit down to lunch, get snacks and hunting and fishing licenses in Wiggins, way outside. To the left-handed hitting Fiegelson, 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 down and the base is empty in the top of the ninth inning. In this opening round 3A state tournament game from Greeley. 2-1 pitch, swung on, grounded right back to Hirschfeld, and he throws to first, and there's 2 down on the comebacker. And the Brush fans can sense that if Peak to Peak does not score and you've gotten Kavakis out of the game, you've got a huge opportunity to win it in the bottom half of the ninth inning. And we have a pinch hitter for Peak to Peak. That is Seth Businger hitting from the left side against the righty B.J. Hirschfeld. Wind by Hirschfeld, the pitch. Swing and a miss. On a ball up in the zone, it's 0-1. Peak to Peak was 1 strike away before Rosenbrock delivered. The offering in the dirt with a changeup. Count levels at 1 ball and 1 strike. And he steps off. Zane Fowl will be the leadoff hitter for Brush in the bottom of the ninth inning. And the 1-1 pitch. That's a strike with a fastball at the knees. Businger thought it was ball 2, but it caught the corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hirschfeld ready. Wind, 1-2 pitch. Swung on and lifted into shallow left center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Businger keeps the inning alive for Peak to Peak on that little flare. And that is base hit number 7 for Peak to Peak, matching Brush's total. And here is Tommy Schreiber. Schreiber grounded out a sac bunt and then popped out. He hit that shot that Guzman made a great catch on. So Schreiber's got some power the stretch. And the pitch swung on, fouled off to the right. Yeah, you're facing a hitter that can certainly crank it, but keep in mind that Peak to Peak all season hit just 2 home runs. That came from Mitchell Ward, who is warming up in the right field bullpen. And I think that Coach Derek Urban wants to make sure that B.J. Hirschfeld, the pitcher, is coming to a stop and not committing a balk. No balls, 1 strike, 2 down. Here comes Kevin Fergus. He wants to make sure that he gets clarification on what's going on out there. Off of first is Businger with 2 down. In the top of the ninth inning, tied at 2. The stretch by Hirschfeld. And the offering, and the breaking ball is very high. Levels the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. This is the second extra inning game of the tournament already. The pitch. Breaking ball swung on and driven towards center field. Guzman has got to play that on 2 hops. It's a base hit, and the ball got away from Guzman, but not far enough to advance Businger an extra base. And Schreiber has come up with the 8th hit for Peak to Peak. First and second, 2 down for Jack Wather. And let's see, are we going to have a pinch hitter or just a courtesy runner? Yeah, I think we're going to have some speed over at second base. Some added speed. And they will have a courtesy runner. And that'll be Michael Caranante. So Caranante running at second base. And he has the go-ahead run for Peak to Peak here in the top of the 9th inning. As we are tied at 2, it was 1-1 after 4.5. It stayed that way until the 8th when both teams tallied a run. The stretch by Hirschfeld. And the pitch. Swing and a miss through the fastball right by Wather. It's 0-1. The first extra inning game of the day was in Frederick. Sterling defeated Valley on KPMX and KPMX.com 12-9. That was also in 9 innings. Hirschfeld delivers. Swung on and tapped foul up the third base side. Now you've got to throw that out pitch. With 0-2, and Alex Bradfield gave Peak to Peak the lead. It was an 0-2 pitch that he grounded up the middle. Ended up being an infield hit. Let's see if Hirschfeld throws something out of the zone and gets Wather chasing. The stretch. And the 0-2. Yeah, very high. Tried to do that, but it was so high that he wasn't tempted to swing. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Caranante at second, Schreiber at first, with 2 down in the 9th. Hirschfeld delivers. Swing and a miss and a breaking ball. And he gets out of the jam, and the Bead Diggers are headed to the dugout in a 2-2 game. In the 9th for Peak to Peak. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left. We'll come back for the 9th between Brush and Peak to Peak, tied at 2 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. And the new pitcher is Mitchell Ward for Peak to Peak. Let's see what the defensive alignment looks like. It's short. As it looks like you've got Ben Pinkerman out there. And I don't know if he's going to be playing second base. He's fielding balls like he's at short. They're two warming up right now in the same area. And that includes, I'm sure, Matthew Bagnato, who's the normal second baseman. So you would assume, based on that, Pinkerman would be at short, but let's see how they align them, I should say. Yeah, and that'll be the case. As we head to the bottom of the 9th inning, Brush and Peak to Peak are deadlocked at 2. And Zane Fow, who grounded to short, grounded to first, and struck out against the starter, Nick Kavakis, will now step in. Here's the wind by Ward, the right-hander. The pitch swung on, grounded to second. Should be a routine play. It is, and the throw to first in time. And let's see, I think that was a shift in second. Actually, Pinkerman now at second. So that's what that looked like. 1 down for Aaron Williams. As Fow is now 0 for 4 in the game. Williams with his second plate appearance, grounded out his first time. Swung on, that has popped up into foul territory along the third base side. Bagnato cannot make the catch. He overran it. That's a huge break there for Brush. Overrun there by Bagnato, who moved over there from second base. That should have been 2 down. Instead, Williams gets a reprieve, and we know what happens in baseball when you get reprieves. 1 ball and no balls and 1 strike. Tune in to 1010 Preps and more weekdays from 1 to 2 with yours truly for the latest in high school sports. Driven high and deep to left field by Williams. Going way back is Feigelson to the track. It's over his head up against the bottom of the fence. Williams is around first. He's into second with a one-out double, and he nearly gave the Bee Diggers the win. Aaron Williams, following the misplay in foul territory, drills a double, and he's in scoring position for Mikey Gutierrez. For a second, I thought it was gone. And now, Jaron Peterson, who's got major speed, will be running for Williams at second base. That's why you got to make plays at this level. One miscue can cost you, and it might cost Peak to Peak if the Bee Diggers deliver. With one down, a man at second, here in the bottom of the ninth inning, tied at 2. This game is approaching 2.5 hours, which does not include the 1 hour and 23-minute rain delay. You include that, then you're approaching 4 hours. Or 1:25 officially in the rain delay. Gutierrez has a single today. The stretch. Pitch to Mikey. Down and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Gutierrez popped up his first and third times up, and the base hit was up the middle. In at-bat number 2. Peterson with a sizable lead at second. Throw back to second, and it nearly went into center field. Oh, it was backhanded over there by Pinkerman, and Derek Urban, the head coach, is racing out into the field. He certainly didn't want to see that. Pinkerman might have saved the game there for Peak to Peak. There was certainly a little confusion out there. It was thrown towards the bag, but he wasn't that close to the bag. That sails into center field, and all of a sudden the Bee Diggers have a runner at third with only 1 out. Instead, Peterson still at second with 1 down in a 2-2 game. And Mikey Gutierrez settling back into the box. 1 ball and no strikes. Peterson takes the lead off of second. The stretch. Throw back to second, and that one is a little bit low, fielded by Pinkerman. Peterson back in, so they tried the same play. Same exact play. But the Bee Diggers are not biting. The stretch. Pitch to Gutierrez. Swung on, grounded down the third baseline, backhanded by Bagnotto. Long throw to first is going to be in time. And Peterson had to hold. 2 down. What a play by Bagnotto. If he doesn't make it, the Bee Diggers might have won the game there. And that'll bring up Grayson Simmons, who delivered so many times during the early portion of the season. Simmons in the game is 0 for 2. He struck out a couple of times. Also had a sac bunt. G-Man wants to end this to save Hirschfeld's arm on the hill. With 2 down in the bottom of the ninth inning. The stretch by the right-hander Mitchell Ward. And the pitch. Low with a fastball. Throw back to second. And the ball nearly sailed into center field. I'm telling you, they're taking chances out there. It was one hop by Blake Bride. I mean, they are playing with fire on these throws, and they're getting away with it every time. One of these is going to get away if they keep doing it. 1 ball and no strikes. The stretch by Ward. Simmons awaits the pitch. Swung on and popped up along the right side into foul territory. The first baseman Wire makes the catch, and we're headed to the 10th inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a man left. Brush 2, Peak to Peak 2 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. A little bit worse. All right, let's head to the 10th inning. The Bee Diggers look like they're going to make some changes. They still don't have everybody out on the field. Tied at 2. Let's see. Well, no, BJ's going to stay in there pitching. But it looks like Jaron Peterson is going over to first base. in place of Aaron Williams. Everything else, I guess, does remain the same. So Hirschfeld has thrown 40 pitches so far, 31 for strikes. He's given up a run, although there was an error committed in that inning. He had an errant pickoff throw. And that's the only move. Hirschfeld in his 3 innings has struck out 3, not walked a batter. B-Digger pitchers have not walked a single batter today. As we head to the 10th inning in Greeley, an amazing baseball game that was extended by Kyle Rosenbrock's 2-strike, 2-out RBI double off of the starter Nick Kavakis, who threw a masterful game but could not get the final out before that run scored. Yeah, Kavakis, let's see, threw 100 and we'll get that in a second here. 144 pitches. It's a strike from Hirschfeld. Ben Pinkerman leads off out of the 9-hole. Hirschfeld out of the stretch with the bases empty and the offering in the dirt with a changeup. The count is leveled at 1-1 strike. Alec Peterson got the scoring started for Brush with a 4th-inning home run. 1-1. Hirschfeld delivers. Fastball is up and in. Ball 2, strike 1. The winner of this game will have used up a ton. Well, both teams, obviously. But at least the winner will stay in the winner's bracket. The loser is going to have to really battle through. And the breaking ball is a beauty. Down the middle for a strike at 2-2. Because not only have you lost the game, but then you've used up more pitching than you wanted to. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ben Pinkerman, the stretch, and the pitch swung on and popped up into right field to his left as Zane Fowl along the line makes the catch. And there is one down. Fowl makes the play. One down. Here's Alex Bradfield. He gave Peak to Peak the lead with a single in the 8th inning. He is 3 for 4 in the game, the stretch. And the pitch, squaring to bunt, takes a fastball for a strike on the outside corner at the knees. It's 0-1. He has 3 of the 8 hits by the Pumas. Hirschfeld delivers. Breaking ball is a beauty right there. Belt high. It's 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes. With the bases empty and 1 down in the 10th inning. Hirschfeld comes home. Outside with a changeup. Ball 1, strike 2. And Bradfield is such a contact hitter. Grounded out in his only at bat where he didn't reach. 1-2 pitch. Swung on and grounded left side. Tough play for Rosenbrock. Charges. Plays it off his chest. And can't make a play. Bradfield's going to reach. Let's see how that's scored. That's going to be an error on Rosenbrock. Would have been a tough play, but he was coming in. And I've got 4 errors on the B-Diggers. There's 5 on the board. Here is Matthew Bagnato, who's bunted for an out, popped out, reached on an error, and singled. In the game, he's sitting at 1 for 4. The go-ahead run is at first, and they cannot get Bradfield out the stretch. Throw back to first, and he was leaning, but he's safe. Oh, a lower throw. They might have had him. With Peterson over there. Bagnato from the right side. Waving that bat to stretch. Throw back to first, and watch out. Remember, Hirschfeld threw one away already. I'm telling you, he's got to concentrate on the batter. He already had one throw that cost him 2 bases. Get Bagnato to hit one to Rosenbrock and turn a 6-4-3. The stretch. Hirschfeld delivers on a pitch out, nothing doing. As Bradfield was not going. And already 4A baseball has their games delayed to Monday because of weather storms. Throw back to first. And back in standing is Bradfield. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 on, 1 out, 2-2. Peak to peak and brush, snap throw. Back in diving. Hirschfeld's trying to get him out. No question about it, but is he over-concentrating on the runner? The stretch. And the pitch. Oh, not even close, up and in. That's the problem. You lose focus on the hitter. It's 2-0. And the heart of the order is coming up with Ward, who's homered twice this season, and Blake Bride. And you're down to the count to Bagnato, the second leading hitter on the team. 2 balls and no strikes. Peterson lays down the sign. And the pitch. And he bounces it in there, skips away, but it was not spotted over there by Bradfield. 3-0. He might get there the easy way via the walk. 3 balls and no strikes. The B-Diggers are in trouble again here in the 10th with only 1 out. Hirschfeld delivers. Fastball is a strike. Bell tie, it's 3-1. Begins to darken again here. Stretch by Hirschfeld. And he steps off. Man, I think he's overly preoccupied with a runner. He wants to be so careful, but if you don't get the hitter, it's first and second with 1 out, and the go-ahead run there at second base. The offering swung on, fouled off to the right. And the count moves to 3-2. Hirschfeld's already working on a healthy outing. 54 pitches for him. Bagnato from the right-handed batter's box awaits the 3-2 pitch. Swung on and popped up into foul territory. Peterson giving chase, and it's out of play. That's too bad. Hirschfeld doing a nice job coming back and just can not get that pop-up to be hit somewhere in the infield. We'll do another 3-2, here to the right-handed hitting Matthew Bagnato. Hirschfeld toes the rubber on the left side. Short lead at first for Bradfield. And he steps off. Now, including the weather delay, we've gone 4 hours and 6 minutes since first pitch. Peterson setting up in the outside corner. The pitch swung on and lifted into shallow right field. Could be trouble. Matos Garcia goes out. He makes the catch. Throw back to first. And the ball skips by. It would have been double, but the throw was short of the target. Bradfield back in. If Matos Garcia throws that on the fly, it would have been an easy double play. But instead, it's 2 down. So a nice job of Hirschfeld getting the out as Baby went into the outfield to make the catch. Here's Mitchell Ward. Hopefully that errant throw will not cost him, because that was an easy double play. Mitchell Ward has got power. He is 0 for 4, and they're all pop-ups, so you know he wants to crank it in the air, the stretch. And the pitch. Breaking ball is down and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, this is the one guy who can really go yard now for peak to peak. Going to keep it down and away. Or time up and in, obviously. Bradfield off of first. Hirschfeld stretches. Hirschfeld delivers. Fastball, a strike. Down the middle, just above the knees. It's 1-1. Bradfield might be taking off sometime soon. He's got a lot of speed over there. Hirschfeld steps off. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 on with 2 down in the top of the 10th inning. Peak to peak 2, brush 2. In this opening round 3A state tournament game, the pitch swung on, grounded to third. Gutierrez plays it off his body, throws to first, and the inning is over. for Peak to Peak in the top of the 10th inning. They do not score. They benefit from a B-Digger error. They could have benefited from a B-Digger error, and a man left. We head to the bottom of the 10th inning. It's Brush 2, Peak to Peak 2 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Brush 2, Peak to Peak 2 as we move to the bottom of the 10th inning. The B-Diggers will have the top of the order, B.J. Hirschfeld, along with Arnoldo Matos Garcia and Alec Peterson against right-hander Mitchell Ward, beginning his second inning of work. Hirschfeld scored the tying run in the 10th inning, or check that, in the 8th inning, as he led off with a base hit against the starter Nick Kavakis. The wind by the right-hander, the pitch, down and away. Hirschfeld has grounded out, walked twice, and singled, so he's been on base 3 times in a row. Wather lays down the sign and the offering, and that's low as well, 2-0. And for some reason, Puma pitchers have had trouble throwing strikes to Hirschfeld. 2-0 pitch. Swung on in line towards left field. That is going to drop for a base hit in front of Feigelson, and the winning run is at first base in B.J. Hirschfeld. Now, what do you do now? Hirschfeld is out, and Justin Griffith will run for him. The B-Diggers have picked up their 9th hit of the game. You believe this is only the second game of the tournament here at Butch Butler. And, wow. Matos Garcia singled, grounded out, popped out, and struck out. He's 1 for 4. The stretch and the pitch squaring to bunt. It's way outside. Runner takes off. Griffith is going to be in there with a stolen base, and he nearly threw it off the head of the pitcher. Man, that was dangerous. Very dangerous. Griffith at second. So the tying run is in scoring position with nobody out in the bottom of the 10th inning. And you've got Matos Garcia followed by Peterson and Rosenbrock. Ward behind in the count at 1 and no strikes. The stretch. And the pitch to Baby. He swings and grounds it into right field for a base hit. Griffith is going to be sent home. The throw towards the plate. He slides. He's in there. The B-Diggers have won the game 3-2 in the bottom of the 10th inning on Arnoldo Matos Garcia's RBI single. Holy mahungus. And the B-Diggers advance to a game here coming up momentarily against the Eaton Reds. We'll take a 2-minute break. Back in 2 minutes after this. Brush 3, Peak to Peak 2 and 10 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. The B-Digger post-game show is brought to you by Mr. D's Ace Home Center in Sterling Brush and Fort Morgan. Mr. D's Ace Home Center is your farm and ranch headquarters for all your farm and ranch supplies, and they carry feed for all your animals and pets. Mr. D's Ace Home Center. The Brush B-Diggers have won the game as they defeated the Peak to Peak Pumas by a score of 3-2 in 10 innings. 3 runs on 10 hits, 4 errors, 8 left on base for Brush. 2 runs, 8 hits, 1 error, 7 left on base for Peak to Peak. The winning pitcher was B.J. Hirschfeld in relief of Nico Guzman. It was outstanding. Nick Kavakis threw very well, 8 strong innings for Peak to Peak. The loss goes to Mitchell Ward. And time of the game, of course, excluding the rain delay, 2 hours and 48 minutes. And here's what happened in the game. The B-Diggers got on the board in the bottom of the 4th inning. Alec Peterson hit an 0-2 pitch over the left field fence for a home run, making it 1-0. Back came Peak to Peak, taking advantage of a Brush miscue. Tommy Shriver then with a suicide squeeze plated a run, making it 1-1. And then after 6 innings, we went to a 1 hour and 25-minute rain delay. We picked it back up at 3:28. And in the top of the 8th, Alex Bradfield with a man at third hit an infield single, his third hit of the game, and that gave Peak to Peak a 2-1 lead. In the bottom of the eighth inning, B.J. Hirschfeld led off. He was at second base with 2 down. There were 2 strikes on Kyle Rosenbrock. He laced a line drive towards the center fielder, Bradfield. And Bradfield came in a little bit. It sailed over his head all the way towards the fence. That double scored Hirschfeld, and it was tied at 2. And then finally, in the bottom of the 10th inning, Hirschfeld led off with a base hit. Justin Griffith, his courtesy runner, stole second. And Baby Matos Garcia with a run-scoring single through the right side. And the B-Diggers win 3-2. They're now 16-5 on the year. Peak to Peak at 15-6. Will now advance, making 15-7. Looking at the records once again, they will play Peak to Peak coming up tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. They'll be at Frederick High School when Peak to Peak will be taking on Gunnison in an elimination game. All the Beat Diggers have to do to play next weekend is either defeat Eaton right now or win tomorrow. They got to win one game tomorrow. Brush is guaranteed just one game tomorrow because they're playing 2 today. So that's a scenario here from Butch Butler Field in Greeley. We will have a break in between games, not an extensive break, but a long enough break here to get the lineups and to get everything situated. And infield will be taken by Eaton as well. So let's take a break, and we'll get you back to some programming here towards the top of the hour. We'll come back with you hopefully at around 5 o'clock, maybe a tad thereafter, as Brush defeats Peak to Peak 3-2 in 10 innings. They'll take on the Eaton Reds coming up momentarily right here on 1010 KSIR and on the World Wide Web at KSIR.com.